Test, test. Haha, there it is. Okay. Uh, test, test. Okay. This has been just all day a mess trying to get it to work. I reordered my home screen on my phone, so I'm having trouble finding all of the stuff. Okay, let's go to my channel. Okay. Alright, sweet. Hello, everybody. That's not at all the right thing we're looking for. Okay, let's go to the launcher. Alright, also, I guess I should probably, really quick before going too crazy. Alright, so it has been a month. Alright, I thought it had been a month, but I wasn't positive. Yeah, so the last time I streamed was before my birthday, because then I had my birthday. And then that weekend we were prepping to go to Arizona, and then we went to Arizona. So sorry about the 3 weeks of not streaming. We're back. So a couple of things. Don't forget to grab your monthly marketplace stuff. Let's go ahead and check out. Let me go back to my. I want to go back to the stream manager. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. Why? Is it doing it because it's over there? Oof. My Unreal has been real janky today. Okay, so the last time I streamed, there were a couple of things I kind of had going in the background that had not completed yet. But part of that whole birthday week thing was I was so I worked at a company called Lost Boys Interactive, and they did a lot of co-development, and that's really cool, and it was a really great company, and I really like a lot of the people there. But there was kind of that we kind of reached that point of there were when the industry started contracting, right, and projects were getting canceled and all that kind of stuff. Our co-development is one of those things that gets cut really early whenever budgets start getting tightened, and so there's just kind of this pattern of getting to work on things for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden now it's canceled and having to switch to something else, right? And so it was really exhausting and really tiring and everything. And anyway, but that kind of happened. That kept happening, and because of business and everything, we've talked, or I've talked on here before about the fact that my husband is unemployed. He's been working on Ghost Game for us, and that's been really great that we could do that. We could afford to do that, right? Not everybody could afford to do that. We were able to, but that meant that if my job was at risk, that was a very big concern for me because I don't really want to have both of us unemployed. I have no idea what's going on with my Unreal. It is absolutely borked up. It makes me wonder if there's something that's downloading in the background somewhere that's killing my internet. Anyway, so yeah, so I started applying to jobs because I had that fear of being unemployed. Um, and yeah, I'm actually just gonna force quit this thing. That's gnarly. Um, and so like I interviewed with a bunch of companies, and it was actually really really weird for me because usually when I interview, like everybody's really excited to talk to me. And it was really bizarre because I was having that experience where companies were just like, no, you're not good enough for us, and like shooing me away. And it was really strange to then realize that was because the market was so flooded right now. Like everybody, there's so many people that are unemployed. There's so many like superb developers, right? And so because of that, it actually makes it where the people who are hiring um, are really blessed for choice, right? Like they can just, what is going on here? Rip. Okay, well let's end TSM. Sorry, TSM. Um, Gosh, it's all Razer and Nvidia and Unreal and all that kind of stuff. All right, well, I'm gonna do this again and then kill the Unreal processes from inside the task manager. Um, Unreal is pretty notorious for not cleaning itself up properly when it crashes. Um, it's actually really funny whenever you're working in a company in Unreal. There is like an actual like, okay, have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? And then people will be like, oh, and make sure that it isn't actually running in um, the task manager because it will just keep running in the background somewhere. Okay, so yeah, so I was interviewing with companies. It was really surreal. It was really rough for me. And there was also kind of that level of like people kept asking me. They were like, "Oh, but you have a job. Why are you looking for one?" And it's kind of like, well, I've been in the industry long enough to know when the math ain't mathin', and you know, I need to feel secure. And so that idea of like I went and looked for jobs. Well, the industry is a trash fire right now, and there are no jobs. Sorry, my seat is causing me trouble. Um, but I went and I found, I applied to a bunch of places, and I got to talk to a bunch of cool studios, and that was all really neat and really fun. But I got to talk to this one little company. They're actually a startup, and they're called Noodle Cat, and they're working on a really cool game. I got to play the game as part of the interview process. It was funny. It was only supposed to be like a 45-minute meeting, and we played for like an hour and a half. So yeah, and it's just kind of like one of those things of, um, they made me a really good offer, and it was really cool. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. Best part about Noodle Cat though is, and the reason I actually applied to them in the first place, was because they have a 4-day work week. So pretty much they expect you to work 32 hours, right? And you get paid the amount of money for 32 hours of work, which is really cool. It's really great. I'm actually super stoked about it. Um, but the best part of that means is that on Fridays, I will now be able to work on Ghost Game. So like we did the paperwork and everything to be like, hey, I'm gonna work on this game in my off time. It's not a competing product because and it's really funny every time they're like, well, as long as it's not a competing product, and I'm like, my game doesn't have combat. And usually the response is, oh, that's not a competing product. Okay. So yeah, so it's really exciting for me because I will get to spend dedicated more time on Ghost Game. I also think I might be moving the stream to Fridays, um, just as a result of that. Now that means that streams may go longer, they may go shorter. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but yeah, hoping that'll be really cool for Ghost Game, really cool for people who like to watch me stream this stuff. Um, Yeah, my Epic Games receipt. Oh, I did also want to say, that's so funny. Boop. Okay, so Humble Bundle, if you're aware, is one of those sites that does like a bunch of bundles of games, and you can get stuff, and you can get a whole bunch of games together. I've bought a bunch of Humble Bundles, so I have like tons of the games from them and everything. But I did want to point out. Is this it? Maybe. It must be that one. It actually doesn't look like this one, but this one is very similar, right? So it's a big bundle of Unreal stuff, right? And you can get it for cheap. Um, so this one is pay what you want, and you get all 24 items, right? So I mean, gosh, if you were paying $5 each for these, it'd be totally worth it. Um, there was another one that's actually the company that we got um, all of our asset packs that we picked up, that we were like, okay, these are, oh, there it is. Um, there's all the really good stuff. Like, they're actually pretty performant. They've done a good job. It's kind of, it's like, like these are absolutely like the suburban ones we picked up. We have the retro one already. We already had the rugs. um, so yeah, so we had already purchased a lot of these packs at full price. And that's it was valid paying for them at full price. Let me be very clear about that. It was totally worth it to pay for them at full price. But you can get all of these packs for $25. This is a steal. Like, this is absolutely like robbing them. Like, they're so good. They're such good assets. And they're just like straight usable. Now, yeah, some of them are a little high poly for what we would want, and some of them, kind of have some. They are far superior to most asset packs. So I'm actually going to link this on Blue Sky, just because I like this company's packs so much. I like everything they've done, and so I like to recommend their their stuff. Okay, so the asset packs we snagged to work on Ghost Game are in a humble bundle. If you need lots of decent assets for a realistic game, this bundle is a steal. And totally worth it. Alright, cool. No, we don't need to open an asset editor. Okay. Then, let's see. Where is my content browser window? There you are. Alright. Sweet. This is going to be a shorter stream today. I had meant to start streaming earlier, but so I have two pairs of Arctis 7s, the SteelSeries headsets. I really like them. They're comfy. I like this. So you'll notice the hard band isn't actually resting on my head. There's this cloth band that's doing it. And I do have the gamer headband bump, or headphones bump in my head. But they don't press as hard, and so they're more comfortable. But I have two pairs of them. I have one for upstairs and one for downstairs. My downstairs ones, the ear cups, like the foam part, just disintegrated. And I mean, they're 6 years old at this point. It's been a while. So yeah, so they kind of disintegrated. And I have replacement, like, because they have the replacements, so you can just pop a new one on. But they're on order, so I had to go upstairs and get my upstairs one. But then it turns out it did need the other plug, and it was just kind of a pain. All right, cool. So we're gonna go to. We are still trying to wrap this up. It's really funny. There's a really common phrase in game development that the last 10% takes 90% of the time. Absolutely true. It's ridiculous how much just trying to wrap something up can end up taking. Um, oh, that's weird. I got an email that sounds um, very AI written. It's very bizarre. It says, "We look forward to a warm and fruitful association with you." Hmm. I'm just adding on to my tweet that I was like, we bought these at full price. That's how legit they are. Oh no, everything's vanishing. It needs a build. Okay, let's just build geometry. Oh my gosh. Those are the... Eventually we'll have to come in and fix all of these errors. Okay. Oh, I may have to do the lighting build to get everything to work properly again. Okay. So yeah, so we're still trying to get all of this wrapped up so we can, yeah, I don't need that. So we can submit the game. Wow, I'm really, that's gonna make it really hard to do this. Yeah, because what I'm supposed to be doing is going through and propping things up, right? So if the walls keep disappearing, that makes it quite difficult to prop things up and make it work. Um, let's go there. Build all levels. So yeah, so we're trying to get the last of the demo done so we can get it submitted. See what kind of um, response we get from talking to people about them giving us money to do this. Um, so yeah, so yeah, so then also I want to show off. So one of the really funny things about Ghost Game is, my husband got laid off from his Android job, and so he started working on Ghost Game like hard, right? Like trying to get it, you know, demoed and ready and everything. And we kind of had that. Man, that just looks like ass, doesn't it? I'm like looking up here and like, oh yeah, that window is totally in the wrong spot, and there's a error on the wall there, and all the stuff I'd like to fix, but I can't yet because everything keeps disappearing. Um. Anyway, so there was always this kind of hope that we could work on Ghost Game and maybe get money, maybe make it better, um, and ship it, have it be this big good game. Um, but there was also that kind of awareness as game developers. Like we're aware of how often indie games fail, and we're aware of how often big games fail, right? Like you can be a AAA game, AAA budget, AAA marketing, and just face plant, right? Like it's not guaranteed. Your success isn't guaranteed, no matter how good your idea or good your game is. You know, there's no silver bullet to ensure that you succeed. Um, And like you look at stuff like Among Us, right? Among Us had been out for like 5 years before COVID happened, and everyone just started playing it like crazy, right? Um, and there's other games that have very similar stories. Baldur's Gate was in early access for how long, right? And so, there's always that kind of like, oh, we really hope we can do this. We want this to work out, but it might not. And so there was always that kind of risk to it. Um, so one of the things about game development is you're always constantly thinking about how can we de-risk, right, a project? How can we de-risk? And part of de-risking is what are the things we can get rid of that could potentially endanger the project from shipping? Kind of if you think about it in terms of like, uh, you know, de-risking your house from a house fire, right, is making sure that all your wiring is up to date, making sure that you're not leaving lit candles about, all that kind of stuff, right? Like there's things you can do to reduce the risk of something happening. And so game development, a lot of de-risk is about, well, do you have the right size team compared to the right size of game you're making? Do you have a game that is serving a market that isn't currently flooded, right? So every time somebody's like, oh, we're gonna make a live service game, it's like, come on, guys, like there's already like a million of them, and players are only gonna play one, right? Like they're not gonna play 10 live service games. And so that's a very crowded market. It's already flooded. And so you kind of have that. You're de-risking your project. And so when Ryan and I were first talking about the game that we wanted to make, by the way, our company is called Prime 8, and it's Prime with a number 8 at the end, but it is referring to monkeys. But having that kind of like realization of what's the game that if it's just me and him that we can make, that'll be pretty good, right? Like we can do the job, we can do it well. And this was the game. This was the game we picked. And so like we've been working a lot on leaning on asset packs, right? They do all the art for us, so we don't have to. Ryan's doing all the scripting, and I'm doing all the level design, and we kind of play to our strengths in that way. Well, we don't have the quote unquote strength of building UI. Sorry, I'm trying to find a spot where it's just not horrifyingly broken. But apparently it just is. Like everywhere. I'm sure it's I'm sure it's because I'm doing the build right now. It's just kind of my processor struggling to keep up. Okay, alright, we'll just leave it right here. See if we can switch back to lit. Okay, cool. So, one of the cool things though about making this kind of indie game like this and not having, we don't have anyone who's telling us what we can and can't do, right? And because of that, we can just kind of do whatever we want. Which in a indie company or someone who's never made a game before, that would actually be horrifying if somebody was like, oh, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And I'd be like, okay, well, you're not going to ship a game. But because we've made enough games, my husband, he shipped 5 or 6 games, and then, I think I'm up to like 10, something like that. And because of that, like we've done a lot of these tasks for, the other games that we've worked on and everything. So one of the cool things is, we have a lot of very smart friends, and a lot of really cool people that we hang out with all the time. And we've been able to ask them like, hey, if you want to help on Ghost Game, you can. And they have been, is kind of the thing. Oh wow, look, it's wanting me to save textures. Oh, weird. Yeah, we'll check them all out. Sure, why not? So we have this friend. Is it trying to... Okay, it doesn't want to open the UI because it's a level and we're building the lighting on this level. Okay, alright, cool. Let me go to blueprints though, because we have a bunch of UI blueprints now. So our friend, who is not a game developer, he's an entomologist. But he does a little bit of art, and he also kind of understands a lot of stuff about um, video games. And so it's really funny because we moved like a block away from him whenever we moved back to California. And I keep having these moments where we're sitting there talking, and he'll say something, and I'll realize, oh, he isn't actually a game developer. But because he hangs out with game developers all the time, he just kind of acts like a game developer. So he actually started working on our UI because neither Ryan or I are really like UI like focused people. And so here comes our friend. Um, there we go. It's funny because he's literally sending me messages right now about stuff he's working on, but it's covered up by my face. So yeah, so he came in and he started like actually doing all of our UI, making it look good and making it make sense, and like, um, it's been really cool. And he keeps saying stuff like, "Oh, I hope it's okay," and we're just like, it's fantastic. He actually did I think he did the laptop screen at one point and got it working. Oh, I bet you it's in here. Yeah, and now it's all like readable. It's not all gross anymore. I'm so happy. So yeah, I wonder if I can go ahead. I can't play while we're building lighting. Ah, I should have built lighting before. It's my fault. It's been too long. So it's really cool because so our friend who is not a game developer is getting to do game development because we're just like, sure, you can do whatever you want because we're not going to do UI. Like we would literally wait until we had no other choice. And then we would probably hire someone to do it. Like just whatever we had to eat ramen for like 3 weeks to be able to afford to pay someone else to do it. And so it's really cool that like he was able to come in and build all this stuff for us, which is really exciting too, because then you might end up in that position where it's like, okay, like our game went big, and now we're gonna like drag this poor entomologist into making video games. um, so yeah, yeah. Gosh, is there anything else? Um, oh gosh. Uh, so I was on Blue Sky. I posted the link, and there's a couple of people who are like, "Oh my god!" And somebody posted the GIF from Galaxy Quest that's "But Grab Falls Hammer, what a savings!" And it really is like that's what that pack is. Um, oh gosh. Anyway, yeah. So it is such a steal. Given how the contracts keep going, it might not be the worst move. Oh, about sorry, I need context. I didn't see that message whenever it was in the right thing. Oh, yeah. I wish my lighting wasn't all messed up. That would be super cool so I could just start working. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What shenanigans are people going? getting up to? Oh, right. Actually, you know what? I think I want to post this. I want to make sure I'm telling other people about this deal on these asset packs. It is so cool. Good for game demos. Alright. Dragging him into game design. Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny too because I made the joke about dragging him into game design and then he started poking at the UI stuff. And then he started poking at blueprints with the UI stuff. And then the next thing, it was just like he's sitting here talking about blueprints he was writing. And I was like, oh, I didn't learn how to do that until I had been a designer for like 3 years. Like he's caught up so fast. Yeah, he's learning really quickly. It's kind of amazing. Okay. Let's go here. This pack of packs is a steal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm on a bunch of different like game design discords and stuff, and so I like to link things to people if there's something really good there. Okay. I want to make sure I link it here. Alright, cool. Cool. Makes me happy. I like telling people about deals. Alright. Oh. Okay. Alright. Yeah. I feel like there's kind of like a potential of like it's just a It's just a bad idea to convince people to get into game development, especially like right now. It's just such a mess. Such a mess in the industry. Okay. Alright. Alright, let me see if I can fix this wall up here. Let's go top. Because that's weird. I don't remember this wall being messed up. I wonder if something got shifted at some point accidentally. That can happen. Yeah, look at that. Something got shifted at some point. Whoop, not you. Not you. There we go. Fortunately, when you do things on the grid, you can see when it gets messed up. Cool. Oh yeah, that's right. We did a lot of decorating up there. This stuff down here, though, is probably more of the better work. Yeah. Okay, 51% of lighting build. Gosh. Really is annoying. You know, it's weird too, because I don't have this problem at work. Because we don't usually do the builds on our computers when you're working in a studio. You check things in, and there's like a build server that does the builds, and then you like download the builds from the build server in Perforce. And so it's like, this is kind of one of those weird things that's like, oh, if we were bigger and had like legit IT and stuff, somebody else would be handling this and making sure it wasn't like this. But you kind of have to deal with this pain when you're indie-ish. Okay, so I did want to, actually really quick, I can do this without needing the visual thing. So one of the things my friend who's been trying to he's been trying to learn how to do a bunch of the scripting stuff, and oh, that one doesn't have an actual script on it. Okay, let's go back. The circuit breaker will have one. Yeah, okay. So one of the questions he was asking me was, how does he pass data from one blueprint to another? And actually, you know what? Maybe I should just do this in a new blueprint. Let me go. New blueprint. What are these? These are actors, right? Actor. Cool. Blueprint class. Actor. For Torgo. Blueprint class. Actor. From Torgo. Okay, so we now have two blueprints. We can go to the event graph. We're going to do it off of event begin play because we don't care. This is just a thing. So blueprints don't share information really easily. If it's within a single blueprint, it's no problem. It can just share it. It's literally just a variable. So what we're going to put here is a thing I picked, and we're going to make it, just whatever. So let's just make it an int. Okay, so replication is kind of a is kind of a weird thing. It's used for multiplayer. So replication is the idea that whatever this is, if there's a client or if there's a server and then there's clients, it will replicate it out to all of the clients. I think there was something else on here that I needed to. Is it expose on spawn? Yes. I think it's expose on spawn. Okay, so event begin play. We're gonna random. Thing I picked. Burp. Okay. I think that means it's replicating. Random. So we're going to get a random integer in range. So pretty much what that does is that says, okay, set. Okay, so on begin play, we're going to pick a random integer in range. Actually, you know what? I think I can delete this one. I don't think I actually need to feed that one in. So we're going to pick something. The minimum is 0. Let's make the max 10. So then what's going to happen is it's going to, event begin play, it's going to pick 0 to 10 integer, and it's going to set that. So now, okay, then compile. Oh, please make it instance editable. Okay, so yeah, if you want it instance editable, you have to expose it on spawn, but we don't, so that's fine. Okay. All right, so it's going to pick a number, and it's going to assign that number. So then what we need, where was our other blueprint? For Torco. Okay, so this is the receiving blueprint. So the real trick is, though, you have to create a custom event, and I'm trying to remember. Okay, all right. Delete. Okay, so here we're going to create a custom event on the receiving end. Things were chosen. All right, now this is our custom event. Super cool is we can go back here and say things were chosen, and it gives us that event. Okay. Now we're gonna have to deal with a different problem in a minute because we're gonna have to set a reference to that other thing. So there's ways to do it. I'm gonna show you the easiest one. Okay, so we've picked a thing. It's a number. We're sending it to things were chosen. But you'll notice there's nowhere to plug this in, right? Electricity doesn't go if it doesn't have a plug. So we're going to go back to our custom event, which is this one. It only triggers when it's been told to. It's being told to in this script. So now the event's going to happen. Over here on this side under details, you have this really cool thing here. What's those? Oh, yeah. These really cool things here, inputs. So we can add one, thing chosen, and then we set it to an integer. So it knows it's an integer. It knows it's supposed to be getting it, and so now it feeds it out. So now when we go back to our old thing, you'll notice, it's got the little thing you plug it in. So you plug it in, it will now send this information to this script, except it doesn't actually know where that script lives. So you kind of have to tell it not only what the thing is you're sending, but who you're sending it to. You can't just send it to anybody, because not everybody, has that event on it. So usually There's a bunch of different ways to do this. That's a thing that's kind of really common with game development. But you can do things where you find the other script. So I think it's just an actor reference. Actor object reference. Okay, so what this is now is a variable that is a specific reference to a specific actor. We do need to set it to instance editable and expose it on spawn. You'll notice because it's an actor reference, it comes with a whole bunch of like events already. But what this does, oh gosh, if we we probably should have signed a thing. So the way I'm doing this requires them to be placed in the level, which is part of the reason why, this is part of the reason why you don't ship blueprints. You hire engineers to convert blueprints into C++, because this is all super jank. But now that that is placed, so from Torgo, if we go and look at, I've got to compile. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to fix it. It doesn't like it. Okay, but it now has a thing where we can point to the other script. So you'll notice it now does the thing. Object reference is not compatible. Why is it not? Maybe blueprint? Do I need to have a blueprint? I do this at work. I literally point it to an actor reference. Here, an actor reference. Surely it's not that, right? Surely it wasn't. No. Actor object for object reference. Okay, this is weird. Because this is not. Do I not need this? Yes, I really want to delete that. Okay. Alright, my error is, yeah. Blueprint is not for Torgo _C, therefore target must have a reference. So, actor. It's weird because you should just be able to create send. Let me just receiver. Please excuse my spelling. I swear to God, I've done this dozens of times exactly this way, and I have no idea why it's not working. Because it should. Yeah, it's got to have a connection. I understand. We want this to be on the spawn. File, save, compile. Doesn't work. That's fine. 4. Torgo. Alright, we've got our receiver. File. Oh gosh. Oh, the lighting finished. Ha ha ha. Okay. Encoding textures. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's some kind of saving it. Gosh, my computer is struggling. I think Unreal is eating all of the processing. It's also really funny. I'm on a Discord that keeps complaining and saying, you have to have multi-factor authentication. And I'm just like, I do. This is why all of this gets foisted off onto a build machine. Because this stuff is all real slow. It takes a real long time. When I was in school, we would only do lighting builds overnight. We'd just be like, nope, it only happens overnight. And if it was like acting janky or whatever, we'd just switch to a different level or something and just wait for the next lighting build to work on something. Yeah. Oh, point of interest. Blueprints don't like to talk across sublevels. Okay, cool. Alright, so what do I do? I'm going to look at this. Yeah. I mean, it should be fine. Alright. So we have the reference. I don't understand. Okay. Go. Class defaults. None of that was important, just so you guys know. Okay. I don't understand why this thing is not working. Let me delete. Alright, let's pull this off. Does it have a promote to variable? Burp. Promote to variable. Catcher. Alright. There you go. Promote to variable. Burp. Okay. Wow, that's weird because it's pointing at specifically that one. Okay. Burp. Expose on spawn. Compile. Save. Okay, so dragging it off, promoting to variable is probably actually the better way to do it. So if we go back to from Torgo, we'll see that's there. Because it's looking for that specific thing, it's gonna only have that in the list. Okay. So now, what should happen when event begins play? It's gonna pick a thing. The thing's gonna be chosen, and it's gonna send it to the other script. This script, what you can do to just kind of show that it's doing the thing, we're going to do this. We're going to say the number that was chosen here, and then so that's a really cool thing Unreal will do is if you're trying to plug something into something and it knows, like, it's like, oh, context, like these two things can work together, but they're not hooking them up properly, it'll just throw in the thing that does it. Okay, so we did that. Ooh, cancel. File, save all. So now that we've finished building, though, we should be able to lighting builds. Lighting builds will be the death of me. Alright. Okay, so we're going to print it to log. Okay, so then theoretically, if we just play, alright, and then we didn't see it pop up because it goes really fast. But, whoop, there are some errors. The number that was chosen was 2. See how there's the thing? Okay, now, that may not have actually been correct. So let's do, let's verify, right? Let's make sure. So let's open, where's our blueprints? Blueprints. Okay, so the number script 4 thinks was chosen. All right, and then we're going to take this exact thing. Boop, boop. The number script from thinks was chosen. And we're going to burp like that. Okay. It is worth noting, you gotta be real careful to only pull it from the set, not from this, because this is just in time, if you think of that, in that when it it's not running, right? And then when it hits the set thing, it goes, oh, I need to set this to, and it runs back and it finds that random integer and it runs it, gets the random integer, and then runs it back. This is why blueprints are not performant. And runs it back, right? So if you pulled off here and plugged this in over here, it would pick the first number, set it, do the thing, and then it would go back and pick a new number for the second one. So we don't want to do it that way. We want to do it this way, because then we get the right numbers. Okay, so then let's go back, play from here. It's going to hit it again. You actually see it pop up for half a second there in the corner, but then it's gone. But we can go back to the output log. Oh, output log. Wow, I do not like that at all. Okay, but we can go down, 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 down. Just above all of our errors. There we go. Number that thinks was chosen and the number are both 2. I suddenly have brain weasels and am very concerned that it's not okay. It's not wiping it out. Okay, so this is really bad. Theoretically, you should have a thing that clears and saves and all your stuff anyway, but that'll work. Okay, one more time. One more time. And we watch in our corner, 10 and 10. Okay, I actually saw it that time. Okay, so that was our last ones. There were 2s, and there we go, 10 and 10. Cool. So the information is now being passed between those 2 scripts. We're doing it with a number, but you can do it with a lot of things. They do need to be in the same sublevel, I think. I'm pretty sure that's true. I've found that to be true. I usually try and make sure stuff is all in the same sublevel if it's talking to each other. Yeah, because sublevels can sometimes not be loaded. Using to this kind of like you're setting a reference and you're just assigning it. That's a really, I like to call that like a real like hammer way of dealing with the problem, right? Like you're just gonna force it to happen. And that's fine, especially when you're prototyping. Eventually you would want to do a thing where you say, actually, I get actors. Yeah, so you would actually want to be able to like get all the actors of a class. And so, if you were wanting to send this to like, I don't know, every light in the level, I'm actually going to close all this and delete these 2 guys because they were just, yeah, I know. It's going to break the references. If you say wanted to send a thing to every other actor of a type, so like, oh, he's doing it really cool. All right, so he's created scripts, and so there's like functions. We originally had it where when you would flip the breaker box, it would turn off all the lights, and he's doing it in a better way now, like a more correct way. So you have this, which is in a different script. Okay, so get all actors of class. It's all haunted object actors. That gives you an array, just big old of all of those actors. And then we're literally going through each one of them and turning them all off. And again, not very performant. You would almost certainly have an engineer come in and like make this work better, work in C++, because if it's in C++, it happens a lot faster. But with the blueprints, like, see, that's just how we do it, and you just literally tell each one to do the thing. And then each haunted object has, if I get the command, turn the light off, here's how I do it. And so then it literally just finds every actor, sends every one of them that event, and then every one of those lights turns off. which is really cool. It's a really neat effect, and it's a really neat way of doing that. So yeah, so I'm actually probably gonna make sure to go over and show Matt how to do that. But you know, um, that's interesting. Why it's not? Oh, because we have an interaction system. So there is actually a whole interaction system now. So as you start building up pieces of a game, you realize like, oh, like we're not just interacting on one object. We're interacting on like 100 different objects. And it's better if you have a base version of the interaction system that's just kind of like the most basic, simple version. And then that way it's really easy to place it on everything and then adjust it per like version or iteration of it, right? Because if you think about it, like interacting with a light switch is different than interacting with a treasure chest. But they both still need you to be within a certain range and push a button, right? Like, so it's that kind of thing. Um, yeah, yeah. So we've got really cool stuff going on. Yeah, and you can like bind events, which are really cool because it's kind of like a way of setting things up like super early. Um, there we go, turning everything off. Uh, Gosh. Oh, look at the spaghetti. Um, so yeah, so like this is bringing in a strength number, which is actually from each light. You can set a strength thing on there. Ooh, this is a gosh, this is a timeline, right? Like, yeah, timeline. So this is something that lets you like kind of do animations and like kind of sliders and stuff. Yeah. That's super cool. All right, so yeah, lighting type and right, and it's reading stuff in, and then it does things to it, but then it's spitting out the light we've created. Yeah, he did actually a really thorough job of putting together the lights and everything. That's what happens when you have an engineer doing the game design. It gets really cool. And you notice like abandoned prints. Prints are really valuable for debugging. Really valuable for um, finding out where your stuff's going wrong. I actually had just that thing we were doing there, where we're like passing a variable. You can also pass structs, and structs are really cool because a struct is like, I think we have some. Let me see if we have some. But structs are really cool. Like they let you do lots of neat stuff, and the quest system probably has structs. Blueprint structure. Uh, Objective struct will do it. Okay, so if you think about struct, it's just like a collection of data, right? It's a bunch of different things that you have all set, right? And there's all of ours. But it also works like as a container, and you can pass the container between blueprints. And so that's what he was doing in that light one, is he was literally passing, like he had set a whole structure up, got the light all set up perfectly, and then he was passing it to the light itself to tell it, here's how you should look. Must be completed. Yeah, yeah. That's really cool. Alright. Sweet. So now that we've got more of that stuff happening, our candelabras don't have that. Our doors are a little jank. Might have to do something about the doors. Yeah, it was the last stream where I learned how to fix the textures on things. That's gonna be really cool. What the heck are you? I assume there is a reason for that to be in this room. I don't know what it is, but there's another one too. Where's the other one? Oh, it's outside. Oh, weird. I wonder if that's like building reflections or something. the light outside. Alright, okay, let's see. So we got that room mostly done. I probably want to close off that closet at some point. Had some little extra plants. Oh, right, because we were doing the plants and then discovered that a bunch of the plants are real spendy, too. I feel like at some point, game developers just kind of gave up on trying to be super performant. And it's, computers, consoles, everything got a lot more powerful, and they stopped caring as much about making sure everything was super clean and crisp. Alright, I am definitely going to have to change that stupid rug texture. Can I just edit it? Oh, I can. I can. Base color. Are we doing the scale anywhere? No, let's see if it's over here. Translucency, self-shadowing. Oh, we're doing it there. Okay. Redify. Let me check. What did I set on this guy? Because I think it was just scale. That's really weird. Gosh, I feel real dumb. I literally just did this like a week ago. Well, 3 weeks ago. And now I can't remember how I did it. Yeah, that doesn't matter. I mean, I literally thought it was like this thing, right? Like it's... Let me see if I can... It should become twice as large. Oh, it did not. Oh gosh. Here we go. Let's do this one. so we want to look at the floor. Okay. I'm going to open this. And then I think it's world position offset or something. History. Recently closed tabs. Oh. Yeah, it's texture coordinates. Yeah, so if we go texture coordinates. Haha, there it is. Tiling. Didn't I? Oh, there it is. Okay, alright. It's a drop down menu. That's why I lost it. Cool. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Okay, so it should be. Wait, this is. What was this point? I don't remember what it was. Wild. I think this was like 0.04 or something, right? Yeah. Alright, so if we go here, texture coordinates. Oh my gosh, it's already at 10. Well, let's make it 20. And then save. Check out selected. Haha. It's looking a little better. Still looks kind of fuzzy. It's a little too big still. See how it all got a lot smaller. Alright, so if we go back to that janky one back here. Wait, let's go this one. Yeah. Alright, so this one, we want to open this up. We're going to make a copy file. Actually, no, let's go mi floor 2. Let's go to our content browser. And let's duplicate. And we're going to call this KM. I'm doing the KM thing to make sure that we're marking everything we play with. Because we will need to replace those later. Alright, so we're going to open this up. Let me... Wait, how do I get that's my graph. Where's my graph? Show me my graph. Oh, whoa, what is that? I don't even know. Okay. Okay, wait. Let's see. Did we make it a different thing? What did we? Let's go KM. On all of it. Okay. Oh, it is a material instance. Okay. Can you add a graph to a material instance? Let's find out. Unreal. Material instancing. Okay, alright, I think this one, it's not going to have the graph because it's an instance of another material. So let's actually not do that one because we want to do it. Okay, let's. Is that the new one? No, that's the new one. Delete it. Okay, then we want to go back to this. Now this is a material instance, but we want to get its material, which is M-base floor. Aha, it has the graph. Okay, so M-base floor. We should be able to just go in here and change our tiling to whoop. See how it got smaller? It's prettier. More correct. That's really what we're going for there. More correct. Okay. Okay, the stream has already kind of gone over a little bit for the day. Like I said, I'm sorry, life kind of got away from me. I'm technically starting 2 new jobs next week because I'm starting my new job as a level designer at Noodlecat, and then I'm going to be doing Ghost Game stuff. I don't know if I will be able to stream this upcoming Friday for Ghost Game stuff because we will be working on the pitch, and so there's a lot of kind of parts we don't want to talk about publicly and that kind of thing. So, but theoretically, the streams may move to Friday, and then see more work happening. Actually, just save all. But I want to go out. Let's close. No, don't apply those changes. We want to go to the levels. Alright, so we open the main menu, and then we play from here. There we go. So we go workshop. Boy, it sure does look like that table is floating because it is not taking shadows. Okay, but we can interact with the thing. So we're getting together the idea of like you actually like make your little things. This is our email job now. And you'll notice you got all these little fun emails that actually look good now, and you can click on them. Or legit Leo, best ghost hunting. And so then this one is the actual job. It's the actual quest. I love the little spidery thing. So then you accept the job. You can also accept the job there. I wonder what happens if you accept both of them. So then we have locations, a bunch of different places. And we select Newburger. And then it's going to say, hey, to start off, pick up your EMF meter and your REM pod. And then we're going to, so notice we have a quest title. Picked up the EMF meter. How do I? Oh gosh. Press C to close the phone. Why can't I? Hold E to pick up the REM pod. Okay. Alright, so let me go to Z. So we get the things. We've completed the objective. You don't seem to understand. Electricity generates EMF readings normally. Old houses, the breaker boxes are usually found in the basement. And it's like, oh no, we have to go to the basement. Creepy blinky light. Wow, I sure need to fix that. Look how garbage that looks. Lots of creepy lights. You can tell our walls aren't quite touching the floor there. We're getting light under the walls. Come in here. E to interact. Alright. Understand? The phone isn't scrolling. That's what's happening. Okay. Yeah. Oh no! I'm so used to hitting escape to get out of menus that I just absolutely hit the escape button. Okay, let's go back to the house. Oh, I got extra credit for going back to the house again. Alright, let's see if we can go. I feel really low. I totally borked it up. Level completed! Yay! And so then we can return to camp. And it should take us back to the thing. And then the new part that's exciting is we can, theoretically, we'll have the thing where we can upload the evidence that you've collected, and it lets you, oh, neat. So then you can create like your social media post that you would generate. Instagram. Blue sky. Ghostrian. Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of like the step 2 of the game. Oh, neat. You can turn off the thing. Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of where we are. We're getting pretty close. So it's exciting. Yeah. 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 it's funny when you're making games. There's kind of a progression of when things get implemented, and it's really funny because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't get implemented until like the very end because it can interfere with like actually trying to test and play the game. Yeah, sorry about the really rambly stream. It's been kind of a month. My vacation was very restful, but at the same time, it was like a lot of stuff going on, and so it was just like it's been a lot. I'm feeling very scatterbrained. Hopefully, though, as we settle back into the school year, because kid going to school means we're home a lot of the time, right? So we kind of get into the patterns a lot better. Yeah, hopefully we'll start streaming on Thursdays or on Fridays. I also have like a mic stand and some other stuff I'm gonna try and get set up this upcoming week while I'm unemployed, technically. And then yeah, thanks for joining us, and I hope these streams start to improve. I've wanted to do a lot of little things to make it better, and now I theoretically should have more time to do that. But yeah, anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. See ya.